You want to learn how to flank? No problem. You'll be a flanking master by the end of this video, so stay tuned.
It's black and white.
So today I'll help you to get more successful flanks. This technique is very useful and can get you some very nice multi-kills. However, it's easy to fail, but hopefully after this video that won't be happening so often. I'll also show you all the hidden flank routes in the map. So let's start with some basic knowledge which you should keep in mind while flanking. Obviously, try to not get caught on your way and move around enemies. But also try to look out for an enemy squad approaching or passing you. Then you can run behind them and see if you can take them out. When you start flying from behind, you need to target one person at a time, preferably someone who is separated from the main group. Then start taking out the others one by one. Once you successfully did that, you can return to your team. And oh yeah, stay calm while flanking. Most people start panicking and make dumb mistakes. These usually include overheating your weapon, engaging enemies straight on, and just randomly firing at a big group without targeting one enemy. These can all be avoided if you stay calm. If you want to go flanking, you should preferably choose a weapon that kills enemies quickly. This can be different for everybody. Personally, I like to choose the CE44C and the officer class, because you can boost yourself with the improved battle command, and the CE44C just shreds people to pieces with rapid fire. But all of this is up to you. Although I do recommend you choose a close to medium range weapon for more efficiency when you're flanking. Next, I'll move on to the flank routes, which I think are worth noting here. Please consider a like, as I had to play for hours to get the gameplay for each map. Also, for your information, these are the biggest flanking routes. There are loads of smaller ones which you can find for yourself. Also worth noting, sometimes the regular passage can suddenly become a useful way to get around the enemy if the enemy has, for instance, already taken that objective and is moving to the next one. Starting off with Jakku. Under the landing area, one of the two first objectives of this map, there's a whole other level. From this level, you can run to the little ramp, which is where the First Order troopers usually go. You can also access the platform itself from a ramp which cuts in directly. During the second phase, there's actually only one route I think is effective. All the way on the right side, there's a door for First Order which takes you to the objective quickly. Usually you can get through quite easily, but you can expect some resistance. Moving on, Gavan 4. This is my favorite map for flanking because of, well, I'll show you now. In the first phase, as the rebels, you have to pass the east and west turbo laser to proceed to these stairs. From here you can rain down fire towards the enemy and secure a few easy kills, so make sure you do this. And then in the third phase, there's actually a tunnel running all around the map and the objectives. I'll show you the map I made for this. So as you can see, the tunnel goes from the rebel spawn to the other spawn on the other side for the rebels. You can access this tunnel as rebels by dropping in from your spawn. The tunnel runs past both objectives and can be very useful for both teams, as you can easily flank the enemy or reach an objective. On my beautiful self-made map, you can see that the red line indicates the tunnel and the blue lines indicate the exits. The cross on the left side is the pyramid. In the fourth phase, you can get on top of the main hangar by running up the stairs you find on your right or left depending at which objective you are. This is useful for taking out enemy reinforcements that enter through the hangar. This is of course only useful for the rebels. Next, Death Star 2. In the first phase, as a rebel, you can get around the enemy very effectively by going through the corridor all the way on your left. There's a bridge which you can open or close either to stop enemies from flanking or for getting to the other side yourself. In the second phase, you can flank the Empire by running around the left side of the map where you might see the Death Star firing. If you continue, you end up behind the enemy at the main weapon control. And finally, in the third phase, there is a useful kind of second floor at the hangar controls. From here you can shoot Imperials as I'm doing here, or defend your objective as the Empire. Then comes Hoth. On Hoth there isn't much flanking to be done, but there's a small flank route I'd like to mention. In the last phase there's a corridor running around the objective on the right. If you're being held back by the rebels, you can use it and shoot from the broken window or go around completely. Next we take a journey to Tatooine, specifically Mos Eisley. There are so many routes you can take here to get around the enemy, but they're all pretty obvious, so I won't go over them. But one thing I do really want to stress is that high ground is the key to success in this map. In the first phase, you can easily get on the roofs with the stairs close to both spawns. From here you can basically move anywhere you would want to go. In the other phases you can either play as an aerial reinforcement or a hero which can jump higher, such as force sensitive heroes and Bosk. Boba Fett is also capable of getting on the roofs, of course. Moving on, Naboo. In Feed there are dozens of possible flank routes, so once again I won't go over them. But there's one flank route I think is worth noting. When you pass the second phase there are two big rooms between your spawn as Separatist and a throne room. You usually see that loads of troopers camp there, but there are actually hallways next to these big rooms and you can use them to get around to the balcony overlooking the big room. Next, Endor. On Endor there is one flank route I want to show you. You probably already know it, but it's the only one I think is actually worth noting. When you spawn as the rebels, you head for the fuel station and you can turn to your right and enter the computer station through the door the Empire uses to enter. I've actually gotten very nice multi-kills here and I still think it's worth taking this route. The last map I'll cover is Kamino. The remaining maps don't really have very good flank routes or they're too obvious to miss and you can find them on your own. Kamino is actually my least favorite map, but it does contain one good flank route. The first and last one being an advantage for especially the Separatists. When you spawn, you will want to head for the outdoor passage on the left. From here you can enter through the door which is behind the boxes. From here you'll probably have a clear shot at the clones camping. That will be all my flank routes I wanted to show. I hope you learned something. Please do think about subscribing as I do like to make nice and entertaining content for all Battlefront fans out there. Just a quick update. Maybe I'll be doing some Fortnite on this channel, so stay tuned for that and of course more Battlefront 2 videos. Thank you for watching and good luck with your flanking.